if you're drawn to quiet tension, power dynamics that blur at the edges, and the kind of intimacy that arrives without permission, subscribe and stay. These are the stories where nothing is rushed, and everything lingers. The first thing he notices is the light, not the morning light outside. This is softer, filtered through curtains he doesn't remember closing. It cuts across the guest room wall in pale stripes, touching the edge of the bed, the dresser, the chair where he dropped his jacket last night. Then he hears breathing. Slow. Even. Not his. His body stills instantly. Memory comes back in fragments. The storm. The late meeting that ran too long. Her car refusing to start in the rain. The awkward pause when he offered the guest room without thinking too hard about what it meant. His boss. He turns his head carefully. She's asleep on her side, facing him. Oh, facing the space beside him. The realization lands slowly. Heat blooming under his skin. She's wearing his shirt. Nothing else that he can see. Just the soft cotton of one of his older button-downs, the fabric loose on her frame, one shoulder bare where it slipped down in sleep. His breath catches. He looks away immediately, heart pounding harder than it should. Nothing happened. He knows that. He remembers every moment of last night clearly enough. Her exhaustion, the polite distance, the careful way she accepted the room like it was a professional courtesy instead of what it really was. Still, this feels dangerously intimate. He shifts slightly, the mattress dipping under his weight. Her brow creases. She stirs. He freezes again, staring up at the ceiling like it might offer guidance. She wakes slowly, the way people do when they're not sure where they are yet. A soft inhale. A blink. Another. Then her eyes focus. On him. The silence that follows is thick. "Oh," she says quietly. Her voice is low, rough with sleep. He swallows. "Good morning." Her gaze flicks down, then back up. Then down again. The realization hits her all at once. She gasped softly, tugging the shirt closer around herself, cheeks warming. "Oh my God," she murmurs. You fell asleep," he says quickly. "On the couch. I brought you in here because it was late." She nods, processing. "And my clothes. They were soaked," he says. "You said you'd change. I gave you a shirt. You locked the door." Her shoulders ease slightly. "Right," she says. "Yes. I remember now." They lie there, side by side but not touching, the space between them suddenly feeling too small and too large all at once. She clears her throat. "I didn't mean to," she starts. "It's fine," he interrupts too fast. "Really? You needed rest." She studies him for a moment, her expression unreadable. "You didn't sleep," she says. "It's not a question." He exhales. "Not much." The weight of everything unsaid presses down on them. The power imbalance. The history of professionalism. The fact that this is his house, and she's in his bed. She shifts, sitting up slowly, keeping the shirt pulled tight. "I should go," she says. He nods. "I'll make coffee." She hesitates. "You don't have to." "I know," he replies. "But it feels right." She considers that, then nods. "Okay." They move carefully after that, like people navigating a room full of fragile things. In the kitchen, the morning feels quieter than usual. No music. No news. Just the sound of the coffee machine and the occasional clink of ceramic. She sits at the counter, legs crossed, still wearing his shirt. He notices, but doesn't let his gaze linger. "You can keep it," he says, setting a mug in front of her. "Until you get home." She wraps her hands around the cup, absorbing the warmth. "Thank you," she says. Then softer. "For last night." "You would have done the same," he replies. She smiles faintly. "Maybe." They sip in silence. The light shifts as the sun rises higher, illuminating the room more fully. She looks different in daylight, less guarded, more human. "You know," she says after a moment, "this is not how I imagined seeing you outside of work." He lets out a quiet laugh. "Likewise." Her eyes meet his over the rim of the mug. "There's something I should say," she continues, "about boundaries." His stomach tightens. "I know," he says. "And I agree. Last night was circumstance. Nothing more." She studies him, searching for something in his face. "And yet," she says. "And yet," he echoes. Another silence. This one is charged. She sets the mug down slowly. You didn't have to stay, she says. You could have left me to sleep it off. He shrugs. I wanted to make sure you were okay. Her gaze softens. That's dangerous, she says quietly. I know. They hold eye contact longer than they should. She breaks it first standing. I should change, she says, and call for a ride. He nods, stepping back to give her space. As she walks past him toward the guest room, the air shifts, tightens. She pauses in the doorway, glancing back. For what it's worth, she says. I'm glad it was you. His chest tightens. So am I, he admits. She closes the door gently. He exhales slowly, resting his hands on the counter, grounding himself. This was a mistake. A quiet one. Careful one. But a mistake all the same. She leaves an hour later. Dressed. Composed. Back in control. At the door she hesitates. See you Monday, she says. Yes, he replies. Monday. She pauses, then adds. We'll handle this professionally. He nods. Of course. She leaves. The house feels emptier than before. Monday comes faster than he expects. At work everything is the same. And completely different. She doesn't avoid him, but she doesn't seek him out either. Meetings are efficient. Conversations precise. But sometimes when no one is watching, their eyes meet. And linger. One afternoon she stops by his desk. Can we talk? She asks. In my office, he replies. Steadying himself. The door closes behind them. She leans against the desk, arms folded, not defensive. Thoughtful. I've been thinking about that night, she says. So have I, he admits. We can't let it affect our work. I won't, he says immediately. She studies him. I believe you. The trust in her voice does something to him. But, she continues, I also don't believe in pretending something didn't happen when it did. He waits. I don't want secrecy, she says. And I don't want confusion. Then what do you want? He asks quietly. She meets his gaze. Clarity. The word hangs between them. He takes a breath. Then here's the truth, he says. I respect you. I didn't cross the line. But I felt something. Her lips part slightly. So did I, she admits. They stand there, the air between them taut. This complicates things, she says. Yes. But it doesn't have to ruin them, she adds. He nods slowly. Agreed. They decide to take space. Not distance, but intention. Weeks pass. The tension doesn't fade. It deepens. Until one evening, she knocks on his door again. This time there's no storm. No excuse. Just choice. I brought your shirt back, she says. He steps aside, letting her in. The door closes behind her. And this time they don't pretend the moment is accidental. They take it slow. Careful. Honest. And when they finally close the space between them, it's not about power or imbalance, but mutual decision. Morning finds them calmer. Grounded. Certain. She wakes in the guest room again, but dressed this time. She smiles. Some things change everything. Some things simply begin. And this quiet, chosen, undeniable, feels like the latter. The days that follow are measured. Not cold. Not distant. Just deliberate. At work, she remains exactly who she's always been, decisive, composed, effortlessly authoritative. Meetings move efficiently. Emails are precise. When she speaks, people listen. Including him. Especially him. But there are moments, small fleeting ones, when professionalism thins at the edges. A pause before she looks away. A fraction of a second too long when she hands him a file. The way her voice lowers when she says his name. He notices everything. And he does nothing about it. Not because the feeling has faded, but because restraint has become its own form of intimacy. They don't talk about that night again. Not directly. Not in words. But it exists between them. Steady and undeniable. One evening, long after most of the office has cleared out, he's still at his desk when she passes by. You're staying late, she observes. So are you. She stops, considering him. Walk with me, she asks. It's casual. Reasonable. He nods. Of course. They leave the building together. The city quieter than usual. Dusk settling into something deeper. The air is cool, crisp in a way that feels intentional. like the night has made room for them. They walk side by side without touching. How's the guest room? She asks lightly. He exhales. Empty. She smiles faintly. Good. They stop at the corner where their paths separate. Neither of them rushes. I've been thinking, she says. So have I. She turns to face him fully. About what clarity really means. His pulse picks up. And it means not pretending, she says. But it also means choosing timing. He nods slowly. I agree. She studies him, her gaze softer now, less guarded than it is in the office. You're good at restraint, she says. So are you. A quiet moment stretches between them, comfortable, aware, charged without urgency. Dinner, she says finally. Not tonight. Not rushed. Just dinner. He doesn't answer immediately. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he wants to say it right. I'd like that, he says. Her smile this time is unmistakable. They part without touching. Again. The dinner happens a week later. Neutral place. Quiet lighting. No audience. They talk easily, about work, about books, about the strange intimacy of sharing space without crossing lines. The wine stays mostly untouched. Neither of them wants anything dulled. When the check comes, she doesn't reach for it. I invited you, she says calmly. He doesn't argue. Outside, the night is warm, unhurried. They stand closer now than they ever did in the cafe, on the ferry, in the guest room. You're very careful, she says. With you, he replies. Yes. Her gaze holds his. That makes me feel safe, she admits. The word lands heavier than anything else she could have said. He doesn't touch her. He simply nods. I want this to be right, he says. It already is, she replies. Because we're choosing it. She steps closer. This time, when she reaches for his hand, he doesn't hesitate. The contact is gentle. Certain. Norus. They walk together slowly toward his place. Inside, everything feels different from the night she stayed unexpectedly. Calmer. Intentional. There's no borrowed shirt. No estorm. No confusión. Just two people standing in a quiet living room, fully aware of what they're doing. She slips off her coat. He watches, not hungrily but appreciatively. This time, she says softly, there's no imbalance. No, he agrees. Just choice. When they finally kiss, it's unhurried. Grounded. Familiar in a way that surprises them both. Morning comes without urgency. She wakes alone in the guest room again. But the door is open this time. In the kitchen, he's making coffee. She joins him barefoot, wrapped in herself. Good morning, she says. He smiles. Good morning. They don't need to talk about what happens next. They already know. At work, nothing unravels. If anything, things steady. Boundaries hold. Not because they're enforced, but because they're respected. And sometimes, late in the afternoon when the office is quiet, she'll pass his desk and pause. Dinner tonight? She'll ask. And he'll smile, already standing. Some nights begin accidentally. Others are chosen. This one, slow, deliberate, undeniably real, is the kind that stays.